as we are on W3Champions, we have no names displayed. That's why you guys have to update me. But here's the first qualifier of the W3Champions Season 10 FFA.
Hello, yeah. And we have, I think it should be easy to distinguish the players. We have two elves, one being Gradient, playing the elf race, the elfish race. And then, like, the RulaZ, do you remember, like, who picked? Was it Eshan or was it Sheik? Like, one of them
Sheik was random, and
Sheik was random. Okay.
They are revealing their names in chat, so we know that Sheik is the orc.
I can't read, so I don't know. Okay, so we have Moon in Bulgarian Moon here in the northwest, and then yeah, LilTic, the human here northeast, and then who is the orc then? Eshan or what?
Sheik.
Guess that's Sheik. Okay, now I got it. So yeah, interesting lineup for sure. All very experienced FFA players, and that is usually, I would say, most of the time when we see like quick free wins for one of the players, it's because one player is either inexperienced or just not playing FFA very well. So that's usually why you have an overall imbalance. That shouldn't be the case here. Like, all of these players have played several FFA games over the years, so should be an exciting game, and also a very cool map.
So just to confirm, bottom left should be Gradient, given the Moonwell structure, right?
I guess,
and then top left we have Eshan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting for Eshan here to see those Moonwells. Basically, creating a border here to the south. I'm not sure if I've seen it here. Very unusual in my eyes. And he's playing Panda first, and yeah, definitely Gradient here with the Beastmaster first. And like, whenever I tried to play Beastmaster and FFA over the years, it always like felt really underwhelming, because like it's good for creeping early on, but then after that it's like totally useless in those big air battles. But for some reason, Gradient with his playstyle can make him work so often, and it's super annoying to have like a Beastmaster, Tinker, or Panda in your main base, or like Beastmaster and Keeper with mass animals. Super annoying and quite crazy how quickly he can tear down a main base.
Guys, can anyone tell me what is the fountain in the middle?
I would say it's a heal fountain. I don't see any purplish purple bubbles, but I'm probably wrong.
I would agree.
Yeah, it's a heal fountain.
See, 15, no, how many years of experience? 20 years of experience.
Also very interesting to see here, LilTic pretty advanced, building the expansion with 3 workers. This is so that he can tag faster. We can see in his main base, his tag is already halfway done. So yeah, that's pretty advanced build order. So he definitely prepared a nice build plus creep route.
Yeah, and no rifles, as we often see here by other human players, to go for those red spots early. So he plays very old school footman here, early lumber mill.
Yeah, and Sheik is going for the alchemist first. That's also very legit play. I mean, a high-level Blade Master, of course, has a lot of DPS, but also Alchemist with Chemical Rage plus Blood Blast is very high damage output. So yeah, both is valuable for Orc, viable for Orc. I'm not sure what's better.
I think against Elf usually, because on a map like this, where as Orc you will definitely not get a huge bank, and you may face Elf air armies, especially facing Gradient here. I think Alchemist is amazing with Acid Bomb and Bats. Like, I think it's the only way to make Bats cost efficient against Chimeras with 3 defense upgrades.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So yeah, from here on, everyone will get his shredder. Everyone has their own lab, so that's pretty convenient. There is no fight for the shredder. So that's why this map is pretty much very peaceful. until everyone has their second base, or maybe they fight even for the red spots in the middle a bit to get some additional XP up.
Yeah, and we already saw one player announcing mid-clockwise, so usually, even if no one announces anything, usually it's like a silent agreement that everyone goes for a clockwise second expansion in the center, but that doesn't mean everyone has to do it. And of course, some players feel cheeky, and maybe some players try to get two. So sometimes we see those clashes for those second expansions, but usually you are like, if you want to go for the safe one, you go for the clockwise one, at least if you're facing players that are experienced FFA players or in competitive matches like this. And yeah, I think I mentioned it in the FML match that we casted last week, that I think you should go for those red spots in the middle as quickly as you can, because unlike the marketplace red spots, those in the middle are more accessible to other players also. So you really want to get them and those items, and also you want to get your second expansion very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, FFA is quite interesting because there are some to-dos on your checklist for every game you play. Like, you want to tech to tier 3 as fast as possible because you want to have 3 heroes as fast as possible. You want to have your first and also your second expansion as fast as possible. And you need to get the Shredder at 23 o'clock when it's first available, pretty much for all races. So these are pretty much the main checkpoints that you have to get in FFA, and that you have to optimize your build order.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the main reason why players that have never played FFA before, why they perceive FFA as unfair in ladder is because they do not hoard enough gold, so they just constantly attack someone. Whoever they see, they will attack right away instead of choosing their fights carefully and getting or preparing an army, and then after fighting, dropping back to 50 or 80 and then gathering some gold. And the second one is not getting enough production buildings. So even if you understood that it's useful to get like a 5 or 10k bank, if you only have like 3-4 production buildings, you usually can't pump an army quickly enough. So in FFA, like even 10-12 production buildings, depending on your gold count, can be very useful to have.
Yeah, now we have a slight deviation from LilTic from this game plan. As we can see, every player is taking their second base already. But every player is on their way to tier 3, so not on tier 3, but LilTic. So LilTic is the first on tier 3, but therefore the slowest to get the second expansion. Also, it's going to be very tough because he didn't go for rifles, to only creep this with 1 hero or 2 heroes and 1 footman. So we will see how this is going to end. It's a red spot after all, so not too easy.
Yeah, and Eshan very nicely here going for the AOW creep camp on those footnymphs. So much XP here, and if you're quick, and I really like his creep route, there is a chance that you can get a second, especially if you have treants and a lot of archers, which he has here. I think for my taste he has a bit too many archers. I think they fall off so hard against human, unless the human plays a rifle push, but in this case the human does not. And yeah, against Gradient, if you place Hippogriff Riders, I guess they're okay too, but in general I think it's like I wouldn't go for 5 archers here, because it's delaying your tech quite a bit, I would say, or not your tech but your buildings.
Yeah, and also upkeep is also very important in FFA, of course. So after taking your second expansion, it's always the question, how long do you wait to go above 50 supply? Because it just feels so nice if you're on 3 bases on 50 supply, look at your gold count going up so fast.
Yeah.
you pretty much are always too greedy to pump. But then on the other way, you need experience for your heroes, and you need to be able to defend. For example, if human would be greedy and then loses like his second expansion plus 5 workers plus maybe 2 towers plus 2 minutes that he needs to rebuild this whole thing, it's like 2,500 gold I calculated that he is gonna lose by just being too greedy. So yeah, there's always how greedy can you go without being too greedy in FFA.
Yeah, and yeah, Eshan trying to get the marketplace here, but already crept. So basically, apart from the center and the bottom marketplace, almost everything is crept. So Sheik trying to get the center here and probably going to be successful, but it's taking so long to kill those creeps here.
Yeah, exactly.
But no one seems to be intercepting him.
And another interesting question is how many workers do you want to have on 50 supply? Because the more workers you have, the weaker your army is. So yeah. Oftentimes players only have the 3 heroes on 50 supply and the rest are workers. Some players go with 10 to 15 army supply and have less workers, therefore less wood, therefore less upgrades, therefore less towers. So yeah, it's always very hard to find the perfect balance in all these things.
Yeah, I mean, as elf, I usually tech with 3 archers and 27 supply. Can't count how many wisps that is, but I guess it's... How many wisps is that? Minus 6, 5, 16... I don't know. I think it's, totally fair. I mean, on a map like this where you get a shredder, I guess you can always get your shredder, and then you can even consider to tech with a bit fewer wisps in number. But in general, yeah, it's very risky to start teching without the sufficient number economy. And yeah, Sheik here getting uncontested, getting a lot of creep spots here, getting the center, and now also getting his market quite late.
The thing you have here in chat is one of the most important things to chat, because FFA in the beginning is always 2 1v1s, and it's important to know who's fighting who, so that there is no teaming and one player getting no attention and can sit forever on 50.
But do you see, like, LilTic is helping Gradient here. Is helping Eshan here against Gradient?
Yep, exactly.
And I think that's... I mean, LilTic is known to be trolling sometimes. That was a very strange... I've never seen that. And I think it was greedy here a bit to like go for that early attack here, but I guess like totally fair. I'm not quite sure why Gradient is attacking into this mid-expo here. I think if you go for that early attack with these units, I'm not sure, like it takes so long to kill a building. I think it might be easier to just attack into the main base and then just harass here and there instead of just going for like the expo. But maybe, yeah, it's always hard with those Hippogriff Riders to kill any buildings.
Yeah, and now it's very interesting to see the upkeep kicking in, right? I mean, we have like Gradient and Eshan on pretty much no gold, whereas the other 2 players are still on 50 with 5k and 4k gold each.
Yeah, and I think that's... I would like to see LilTic scouting a bit better. Like, he does not have any vision on Sheik here. Like, he will not see, and not in Sheik's main base either, so he's not seeing that Sheik is pumping out bets right now. Unless he's revealing, and I didn't see that. But I think that's a bit greedy here by LilTic. But, yeah.
Yeah, Eshan in trouble here. Let's see how the fight goes. Pretty much same armies against each other, but no AoE for Gradient. Plus Eshan with the healing ward.
Yeah, nice healing ward. Very early heal score by Gradient, and not cancelling the healing ward. I think it's a bit of a pretty big mistake here. So Gradient definitely going to lose everything here.
Yeah, also the chimps arrive in time perfectly here.
Yeah. Can't believe that this healing ward is...
And we also see a fight here, pretty much 50 versus 50. No, it's a little bit over 50, and the TC is going down of Sheik. So nice first blood from LilTic, and the Blizzard squeeze kill already done. And Sheik is forced back. Very well microed by LilTic, wow.
Yeah, he has great micro. I think he also played like Dota almost professionally at some point. Was it Dota? I don't know. So his micro is very, very good.
And it looks like Gradient is somehow still in this fight.
Yeah, very, very nicely here recovering, and
the animals doing the job.
Yeah, Very even fight. Extremely even.
Yeah.
And yeah, the MG is going to get stuffed out. Not going. He has double staff, but he's not staffing out the MG. That's super painful.
Yep.
He really.
Ooh. And also the panda. Yeah, nothing to be saved here against the Entangle. Wow, so nice micro we see here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the failed stuff here on the MG, but apart from it, it was very nice and a very nice fight here between the two.
Yeah, and now LilTic going aggressively on Sheik.
And I wonder why is Sheik going for bats? Like, I didn't get that. Like, wouldn't you want like wyverns in this situation? Like, why would you go for bats?
I observed some games of LilTic, and he is going for 2 Sanctums and 2 Workshops, so no Griffins. And I guess Sheik expected after the Footman Open that he will face mass Griffins.
Yeah, seems so. I mean, this could easily cost him the game, or not. Maybe not the game, but at least the fight. That he has those 6 bats, and they will not do major damage here.
Yeah, I mean, he can use it to attack the castle maybe with Liquid Fire, force LilTic back. But he still might be thinking that he's facing some Hogs here, or Griffins rather. But yeah, now Tauren coming in, 2 Tauren, and I think that's enough to force LilTic back.
But yeah, very nice Blizzard here. Yeah. Blizzard is so deadly with the slow. Very nice. But he'll scroll to counter it. And now tanks coming in.
Ooh, but the
bit exposed.
Very nice.
Ooh, the bats. The bats.
Oh no. Ooh. I mean, they're doing nice damage versus the tank, so let's see if he micros him back in time. And yes, he does.
Yeah,
so
just in time.
With the gyro. Ouch, ouch, ouch! Move
one gyro to rule them all!
Oh no, oh my god! One gyro is defeating 9 Bat Riders! What is happening?
Wow, LilTic is playing so well. Look at this, the teaser is going down here.
Okay, Sheik is getting wrecked so far, but I have seen this before in FFA finals. And he still came back.
Still the Invul on the Archmage, nice. Paladin now again, able to Holy Light, and yeah, wow. What a fight from LilTic.
I would say LilTic is probably one of the best micro-wise, one of the best FFA players that is like one of the ones that is really playing one-on-one, I would say. His micro is really nice.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened on the other side, but Eshan is down to 100 gold and 1 expansion, and they just pieced. So
yeah, I'm not sure if they saw what's going on here on the right. I don't think so, but they just want to play it safely.
Yeah, and both are out of gold, and if we compare it to the others, to Sheik and wow, Alchemist. Alchemist is down.
And Sheik might be out here soon. He's losing his natural expansion, and that is a juicy army here to kill for LilTic. And he has a lot of mana to work with still. So if he can somehow dive into this and kill some of these, I think now is a good time. 2 heroes dead for Sheik. And I really like this army composition for LilTic, those 2 tanks here. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, very nice game by him. And we can see he has 7k gold and pretty much the highest hero levels in this game. So yeah, an amazing balance of aggression and hoarding.
You didn't promise too much, that's for sure. So, we already saw in chat that I think Gradient said he's out and everything is over, etc, etc. Is that just manipulation, or is he really in a super bad spot?
I mean, he lost his mid-expo, and that's, on this map, can be a very tough call, but he like, it was good for him that they piece, because like in this case, and we saw that on the previous Fountain of Mana match, where all of a sudden Neutron like was in a good position, and then all of a sudden he lost, right? Or everyone lost.
Yep.
And in this situation with Eshan and Gradient now stopping, like they are not risking that, right? So they just maybe they start fighting again, or it was just managed by Eshan, who is moving south, but maybe only to the marketplace.
Yeah, Sheik is pretty dead.
Yeah, Sheik is dead, and now Eshan has to decide whether he wants to continue attacking Gradient. So the piece was only a manip, I guess. Because if he does, he might face a very strong LilTic. And yeah, he's attacking Gradient. Which...
Yeah, it's not a man-up, it's just because Gradient is staying at 50. And as we said, the last FML game we casted, this is usually not to be allowed by other players. And yeah, we see it by Eshan not allowing any time on 50 if he's not on 50 himself.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, and of course Sorry.
Ooh, he forgot the casters here.
Oh yeah, he forgot some units. I mean, you always hope on a map like this. It's not as easy, but you always hope to get like an advantage from, like if you win an early 1-on-1, you always want to get something in return beyond the XP, right? You want to get like one expansion of that enemy, and then you can always insist that you beat him, and that's why it's your expo now. And that's what we see here. So Eshan is taking the second expansion here in the middle. And I guess even if he pieces with Gradient now, he might insist to keep it. So that's what you want to get. But of course, it's always a gamble. If, like, in some cases, you are forcing someone to like keep on fighting you. And in this case, like this could backfire pretty quickly. So I probably misread earlier. So it wasn't Eshan who wrote peace. It was only Gradient here, I guess.
How and Sheik has to burn through his entire bank here because so inefficiently.
Yeah.
You can see here now LilTic on 8.5k versus Sheik on 1.5k. Sheik was ahead by like 1 to 2k gold before the fight.
Got another pretty big fight here in Gradient's base, but might be over now. Is it? Nope. Hero focus again. TP from the home turbo zone base. Panda. Very
yeah, the heroes of Gradient just not good in this air versus air battle.
Yeah, no AOE at all. That's what I meant earlier. That's what I always like. If Beastmaster is really not a great hero before late game base race, and Elf without any AOE is just a pain to play against, especially other Elf players, but also other races. So yeah, you really need a superior Hippo army, which he can't get anymore. There are no ancient of winds left.
Yeah, and LilTic continuing with perfect blizzards. His Archmage almost level 6. He has almost 9k gold. Sheik still trying to stay alive as good as he can.
And Sheik even wrote that he's almost dead. So I think they should definitely, they should peace on the list, I would say. I mean, or maybe not peace. They can continue, but Eshan does not. It may depend on Gradient later on, because I don't think he can fight LilTic in a 1-on-1. LilTic has 10k gold, almost mass TP. So yeah, and LilTic plays it perfectly. Like he's not, he just scouted Gradient's main base, so he does not want to finish it too quickly. He's like in a great position, hoarding some
polymorph, nice.
Polymorph on the torrents.
Pretty good. Yeah, such a nice dispel.
Yeah, such nice micro.
Might be pushed back though here, potentially, but Blizzard is so strong.
Yeah, the Blizzard slow is so nice.
Yeah.
Look at this damage, wow, it's just perfect.
Oh boy. Yeah, really hard to do anything against it, as it is in 1-on-1, so it is in FFA. Torrent, super duper mega slow, falling rather shortly.
Level 5 MK with full mana almost, that's yeah, that's deadly, and like none of the orc units with mana left. One heal wave here and another one in a second. But
yeah, and perfect tank splits. Nothing she can do.
Yeah.
Against that. That's so annoying every time.
So let's see. Yeah, I guess the only way Tick loses this is if Eshan and Gradient are going to peace and team him. I guess, unless. Sheik is trying to hide here for some time, but there's not much to hide with here.
Yeah, Sheik is now finally pretty much conceding this fight and tries to jet his way out of the situation by saying that Archmage is level 6.
I really like that though. I mean, for ops, I think it's always nice to have like a very transparent chat because like there's one less factor of uncertainty here. Like everyone knows now that AM is 6, that there is a risk, and that will help the left side to make a better decision.
Man, LilTic is getting so much XP without using any units. It's so sick.
11k
Like, look at this
back
gold. Yeah, look at this gold. It's so efficient how he fights, and he still gets hero levels left and right.
And compare this with like Gradient in other games, or Quest also. They always want to be 50 or 100. They never want to fight on 80. And here we see a perfect execution of a totally different playstyle of like a human player with good micro and 80, just constantly being on 80 food.
Wow.
And
Sheik is out.
Sheik is out indeed. In a one-on-one, basically. Defeated.
Yep.
I would not expect that.
Like, this was a fair 1v1. Sheik even had the XP advantage since he crept the middle. Plus, he had 1k or 2k more gold in the bank before the fight start. So,
yeah, I would say, I mean, the army composition was the major, like, was what ultimately cost him the game. And of course, also Asset Bomb not as effective against, like, Spellbreakers here.
Yep.
The Spellbreak army, but,
yeah, he had the perfect counter versus air, like versus Griffins versus Chippo, with the Asset Bomb plus Spats. So yeah,
Gradient loses his main tree. That's a little bit of a problem, I would say.
Yeah, I guess Eshan feels super confident with 6-5-4 here and the most bases.
We may see a very quick game here. I really didn't expect Eshan to continue because I don't really think he can feel as confident against like LilTic, who I mean, you should never feel confident about a human who convincingly beat his enemy and has a level 6 Archmage.
Yeah.
So in this
now,
case,
of course, Gradient is also on Eshan still because Eshan is still killing him.
Yeah, and Eshan like passed the point of no return here. At some point, like it's very hard to get your enemy to peace. And in this case, Gradient is, fortunately for us, I mean, Gradient is a player who likes to stay in the game, but he has 28 gold, and basically this is his last tree. So
yeah, and now, perfect game sense by LilTic. He's pushing over 80 supply now even. I guess he is going for 100 and just mass TP in the main base, while Eshan is being on 80 or below 80 even, and wins this fight and wins the game if this works out.
Interesting call here to go for mass gyros. Do you think that's a good call, or would you have gone for tanks?
I think it's fine because he knows that Eshan is playing Chippo, so he can win the fight and he doesn't really need to just kill the base or wipe out the base, weaken the base. He can just win the fight with 20 supply more. And we all know the Czechoslovak copters from LilTic, right? him being from the Czech Republic here. He always mentions it, that the Czechoslovak copters wins the game.
Yeah, and there comes the Invis Knight for the quick victory, potentially. Really surprising. I really expected Eshan and Gradient to peace.
Eshan just says he must TP me soon. Gradient peace. Alright, if that's in time.
Yeah.
Alright. Mass TP coming in.
Really bad call by Eshan to kill Gradient's main base here. I think that was super greedy.
Yeah, and the nice chat, I would never while he's already doing it.
Cheeky.
Okay, but Gradient plays opportunistic and pieces. Is it enough though?
I doubt it.
Yeah, and here we see the copters working out with the inner fire plus tank support plus slow.
Doesn't even have to have to micro them. Like, they are so strong with inner fire.
Yeah, and there are 2 chimps that he forgot. So Eshan, not his best game, I would say. Not his best game.
Calls for the GG already. I mean, he still has 3 bases, but might be cleaned up soon.
LilTic is just so rich.
766 MK here, so that's going to be a very, very difficult road to a comeback here against a 12k human player with 765.
And Gradient is still not aware about what's going on.
And the Panda might die. Oh, yeah, the Panda might die here. Ultimate running out soon. He has some Moonwells, but what's it worth it?
Yeah.
Just wipes out that part on both sides actually, but yeah, as you said, Panda in trouble.
1 heal stone, but not even using it.
Bash dead.
Yeah, and LilTic, he likes to do this, right? Like, he acts as if he doesn't know what's going on. He's maybe somewhere in his own base while he's just wiping out everyone.
And the Moonwell's perfectly placed for a Blizzard here.
So can he defend here? Where's Gradient? Gradient is not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, Gradient even if, right? Even if he uses Stampede in that main base, like quick mass TP home and like,
yeah,
nothing here that can... I mean, if Gradient had a full main base and an Expo, maybe together they would have had a chance. But yeah, the killing Gradient's main base was a really, really bad decision. That's why I think when Gradient asked for peace, and I was reading, like for some reason I read that Eshan peaced also. I think that if they had peaced at that point, like that would have been a good decision, and I think it would have been a fair three-way here with like them probably, like they would have needed to team LilTic for some time, but yeah, way too late.
Yeah, I think Gradient even killed 2 of his heroes to get out of the supply block because he was planning for a longer game. As you can see, he's going to root the main base and build some wisps. So that was not really how the game worked out in the end.
He has 1 hero and 1 wisp. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to rebuild when your opponent has 11k and 3 bases.
I mean, that's like, I mean, in this situation, of course not, but the best wins in FFA are the ones where so many other players would have left and you just stayed because you had like some time to spare and you had only 1 wisp or like nothing, or hit a building for like 20 minutes and then you managed to like find a mine, come back, get another army and win the game. It's like those are the best wins, I feel, even better than the ones where you win convincingly.
Yeah, and we see LilTic beating 3 of the finalists from the last 2 seasons, so...
Pretty sick, coming in here as a nobody and making a huge name for himself with the playstyle, with the execution, with the play of the game, with like 1 gyro versus 9 bad riders, being so cheeky and little bugger in chat as well.
He was a finalist in I think some other events over the years, and I think he played multiple FML seasons after the one he won, but I think he plays particularly well in those events, like in those quarter events. I think that's yeah, where he shines. Will we see 1 Stampede into a main base here?
We saw 1 Stampede before at the exactly this base, but he had to cancel it relatively soon. Okay, so we have...
Now the Hawk is scouting, so he knows what's up.
Whoops.
Not much to find here.
Also against gyros, can't play his advantage, the invisibility too much. He was scouting at the bottom right when Sheik was still fighting and he knew exactly what's up there, but yeah, that might have been a little late.
Yeah, maybe he's also a little bit pissed on Eshan for not piecing earlier, but killing him entirely and then offering the piece.
I mean, Eshan and Gradient are very, very experienced FFA players, right? If they team up now, is there a chance to come back?
Yeah, they need to buy so much time, and he's still so rich, LilTic.
Never say never, but yeah, not against a player like LilTic. Like against a less experienced player, certainly, I would say. And Gradient and Eshan are probably 2 of the players that are most difficult to kill off because they're so good at hiding and staying alive. Like certainly those 2 players are probably amongst the 3 to 4 hardest to kill. But yeah, this situation, I don't see.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, LilTic has Mass TP, LilTic has a Mountain King and Mountain Panda, so he can always bolt and kill something off pretty much.
Yeah, without Mass TP it would certainly be a pain here to kill off all the buildings, but with Mass TP I think he has a chance. And this could go on for like 15 more minutes if they want to, because yeah, they can spread out a lot, but...
I guess we will see a Stampede by the way now.
Or just a bear.
Wow!
That was under. Let's start with 1 animal before calling the Stampede.
A little bit of preparation.
Alright,
here we go.
Ouch, 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 ouch. Oh my god. The little units you got left also getting destroyed now. Some good lastings of that hippo, valiant effort, but gyros.
Is LilTic realizing that his base is getting stampeded, by the way? because he's chasing still Eshan.
I mean, it's only a few farms and towers, I guess. I guess he doesn't care.
Yeah,
Priority.
I guess.
I mean, he could have staffed the MK, I guess, if he really wanted to stop it. And he's repairing, so I guess, yeah, he realized.
Yeah, also look at the inventory of LilTic's heroes. I mean, he's just playing so well. Every hero is stacked, but the mass TP failed.
Yeah. It's like
Whoopsie. Forgot the rest of the army. Okay. Next base down. Too late of an intervention.
Yeah, and I think LilTic should just build a farm on every gold mine so that he can mass TP if there is a rebuild.
Smart.
Yeah,
Where's Gradient at, by the way? He went up from 7 to 20 free supply, and he's mining.
It's the start.
Yeah,
2 bases for him.
Yeah, that mine in the bottom right is really nice.
Because you don't expect it, or?
Yeah, certainly, because it's like hidden by some other
buildings. The panda, did you see that? The panda just killed 7 gyros.
Oh, lovely.
That's a difficulty with gyros, right? With tanks, like, at least you can usually get like a mass TP off and then staff it out. Ooh,
yeah.
The mass TP coming in. I mean, at least he gets the tank, but that panda might die here.
No, he is staff.
Bye-bye.
Oops.
He's running away, which might be the right call, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
New tree by Eshan. At the top.
Yeah, but you got to admire the try-hardness here of Eshan and Gradient. Like, it's... I mean, at least you're not alone in this kind of situation here, right? So you're in this together, so at least you both try to survive, but still, it feels pretty hopeless to be up against, especially mass TP. Like, it's so frustrating to have, like, the human pop up everywhere on the map.
Yeah.
It's also the W3Champions finals, you gotta try everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they are really getting all gold mines every time. So as soon as someone is killed, everywhere is a tree, at every gold mine. So they are really trying hard here.
Yeah, but since they are not even killing off LilTic's mine here, and they are like LilTic is doing a great job killing mines. Like they are not really getting a gold advantage here either. Like usually that's like the biggest problem, right? Like if you are one player up against 2. Not only do you fight like twice the army, but usually you also fight like twice the... Like you try to outmine... You can't outmine 2 players with even mines. So, yeah, in this situation it's...
And we have gym production already. But yeah, I mean, everyone who's watching, you can see how difficult it is to actually win an FFA. I mean, there's no main base of your opponents left, and it's still a pain to just get the win, even with mass TP, even with a lot of experience like LilTic has. It's not just an easy win.
That's especially on ladder, right? If you are facing someone who's not like that's in this situation, that's why it's so easy to survive on ladder and so hard, or that's why it's so much easier on ladder, is because rarely is someone willing to invest like 15 minutes just to finish you off. Like usually players that are less experienced just focus or change focus and start attacking another player, and you can rebuild. But yeah, it's really important to finish off a player entirely, because even on a small map like this, you can always find ways to rebuild if there's gold left.
Yeah, now he's doing it nicely, setting away his knight here to the top, while splitting up his army. His gyros are on the bottom left, so splitting up armies, splitting up single tanks, splitting up peasants, farms, all this helps to keep the gold low from the other players.
Yeah, and he's still on 12.5k, so there's no way he loses this.
Never say never.
Yeah, that's just...
Sheik won with 1 hero and 1 acolyte, okay? I've seen that. Game isn't over until the old lady sings.
That's true. You saw that Feta clip that I sent some days ago, right?
Yep.
The one where he was facing Tox in an FFA, and it was the final 1-on-1, and his Robo Tinker managed to get down the last Necropolis to 7 HP, and then he TP'd out instead of taking the last hit, and he lost the game because he never got close to that Necropolis again.
Yeah.
So that was an insane loss.
Yeah, it's always interesting to also read the chat, like we see here in chat. Teal was so naive, Teal didn't play smart. But I think if Teal and Purple would piece up earlier and team versus Blue, then they would say FFA is only teaming, FFA is... So yeah, we can... But that's exactly why teaming is necessary in the FFA, right? Because otherwise, I mean, it's just a free win every time. And we can see it now here, if everyone is playing for win, even though they are still in a very bad position, that's the only way FFA works.
Yeah, if you don't have piecing in FFA, always the player that has the easy early one-on-one, or that is facing the weaker player early on, is always going to win the game because they will have more XP and they will have the time to get more gold. So yeah, that's why like piecing is part of FFA in order to not have like only 30-minute free wins for one lucky player.
Amazing move here, by the way. The Panda's in the ultimate, but he will respawn here at the Earth Panda. That's why he's attacking his own Town Hall to not attack the Panda. So he respawns here in a bit, but it's real close because some units are still attacking, and there's a stab.
To keep a sacrifice lamp.
That was like a Shakespeare-ish stuff here of the
tragedy.
Panda.
Was it?
Yeah. Was waiting for all the time, and then like the keeper arrives and
yeah, but this is where pretty much the Beastmaster and the strategy of Gradient shines. Like now he has mass animals, now he can go for the buildings, and it's very annoying. Like, I mean, there is still Nasty P, so that helps for sure. But yeah, it's still very annoying to finish off both players without losing your buildings.
This is a super funny game. We haven't had a single calm moment since like the early game was over.
Yeah, I just love FFA. Every game is so different. It's amazing.
Yeah, we had a very high-paced game earlier this week, but that also felt really different compared to this one. Then on Wednesday, of course, we had like a 40k game that did last forever, but wasn't too exciting. But here, I don't want to rule these guys out just because I saw them a couple of times already. But mass teleport, man, what an ultimate it is.
If the human would not have played, like if he would play without Archmage here, I think they definitely had a chance. Yeah. But with it, it's just, almost impossible.
The town is under siege.
Yeah, now they have no mines at all, so limited durability. But yeah, LilTic getting lower on buildings, that's also for sure.
Yeah, that's the only way he loses this, right? If he loses his buildings, and as you say, like that's probably the only weakness here, that his main base is not like super strong. So that's and unfortunately here there's not even a mana fountain in the middle for like Radiant, so I think a mana fountain would be much more useful.
The Panda's in trouble now.
Has an invul. Oh, not using it to touch.
Yeah, I think he wants to go for the staff. No.
Too late. Definitely too late.
Yeah, also level 3 bash is not really staffable. 50% for a bash, I think. But yeah, the animals taking down all the buildings of LilTic out of the map.
Okay, finds them of course a lot, but there's still this massive main base they would have to lose. We see some buildings hidden. We got this tree at the 12. We got a worker in the Zeppelin bottom left. Eshan is ready to stay a little longer.
Yeah, but against Gyros and Messi, it's just so hard here. We see the next altar being discovered, and now, he has 1k gold by canceling the revive, but it's so hard. Like, where do you build a building ideally? I guess.
Good question.
Yeah, it's hard. I usually like those spots here, like in between like the bridge, so not on the outer road, like outside road, and not next to the fountain, but in between, like those trees and those, those paths.
Yeah, signature move by LilTic, making his heroes invisible.
Oh yeah, right. You're right. I've totally forgot that.
A player's forces are under attack.
And yeah, he's forced to TP here.
Yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense in FFA. Why wouldn't you invis your heroes? I mean, you have so much time, so much mana.
Yeah, but you're right. Better. He's one of the few players over the years that has constantly done it in most of his matches.
Yeah. And Graham just finished his tree, but already get taken down, but Stampede now again.
Yeah, and he has 2k gold, so quite annoying here.
Okay, is nobody mining anymore after this one?
Nope.
I guess Gradient is.
Yeah, but not for long. I think LilTic will mass TP down there right away. Like, he's always leaving one unit and to be able to mass TP back right away.
Yeah, so this elemental has to get killed quickly.
Yeah, he manages to get it in time because the keeper in the north will die again.
Oh.
What's he doing? I don't think he should just walk around with this keeper here. I feel he should just drop treants and
maybe you start playing.
Betterware.
A town is under siege.
Yeah, Graham thinks that he is fighting alone and Eshan is not helping any. Eshan is not really in the spot with 60 gold and 8 supply.
He's not doing too much.
But yeah, at least he's getting his panda back. But yeah, now it's just too tough of a situation. They drained like the 3k gold still of LilTic. But yeah, I mean, both didn't have a main base. And yeah, it's just a very tough situation. Even team
so many gyros. And he's not even like, I usually like in this situation, I like to split like 2 hippos and just like spam waypoints over the map just to make sure I cover everything. He's not even doing that with his gyro army here, but I guess he doesn't need to do it yet.
We have a question in chat: is Undead the weakest in FFA? How come no one of them chooses Undead? And you will see next Saturday the best FFA player, arguably at the moment, at least one of them, Quest, who is qualified for the finals as being the #1 Warcraft 3 Champions ladder player with 2211 stats as Undead. He just yesterday played an FML game, which was also amazing. Be excited for him.
Undead was so weak in FFA, like for 15 years. I think 15 to 20 years, and then they nerfed tanks, and all of a sudden Dreadlord Carrion Swarm can hit mechanical units, and all of a sudden it feels Undead was like twice as strong.
You're
so
welcome, everybody, all the Undeads in the FFA community. That was my change. I like to point that out. My pleasure.
It was crazy. Like all of a sudden, like it always seemed Undead's biggest weakness, right? That they can lose their main base so quickly against human, in particular, and all of a sudden, like that threat was gone. And then also, I guess we saw quite few human players only over the last couple of years compared to like the first 15 years of FFA. So maybe that also played a role, but Undead quite strong these days. So in general, FFA has like the advantage over one-on-one in terms of balancing. That it's like to some degree it's always auto-balancing itself, right? So human which was always a strong race, got team from getting to mass TP quite often. So you can always like balance it out for teaming someone or for some time because of like something they gained in order to compensate. But still, I think FFA is in a pretty good state in general, balance-wise.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the balance is pretty much perfect.
Just wait 10 minutes and I guess the chat will disagree.
There are always, I guess, there are always people that, let's say, Alpha is, for example, Alpha is super strong due to like the ability to hide trees and having like a very So like you can build chimeras and hippos almost against almost everything. So it's pretty easy to play elf, arguably.
Is that so?
Yeah, elf is.
All of a sudden there's Remo for that one comment. God.
Do you consider to switch to elf?
Wouldn't you know it? Huh? Interesting.
No, elf is. I mean, there are ways to play like elf. Trunks plays FFA with the same heroes that he plays in 1-on-1, and he like his ground archer, Talon, ground army that he plays at least until like early late game is certainly much harder to micro than like a Chimera Hippo army. But yeah, if you are entirely new to FFA and you can play elf, then it's not that hard to play. Unlike, for example, I mean, Orc is. I mean, you can as a new player, you can always like try to get a lot of gold, build towers as many as you can, and run around with like a Windwalk. But you're usually not going to win games like that. So I would say Orc is definitely the hardest race to play in FFA, because you need a lot of different units usually to win the game. It's pretty micro intense, and then you always have like the difficulty of like lack of lumber, and then yeah, your main base dies pretty quickly against chimeras and stuff.
Yeah.
Why is there a lack of lumber? You could just go for Shredder or more workers.
Yeah, but still, like you can. Oric has usually a harder time like to keep the lumber economy alive. Like, of course, if you have a Shredder, then you're fine. But also, like usually the first, like Orc needs a lot of lumber to get like a full build out main base and to get all the upgrades. You need a lot of different upgrades. So Oric has, and then if you start to pump bets, like your lumber is gone in no time. So
yeah, also all the caster trainings, like you need all 3 casters with all upgrades, our master upgrades.
So that's that's why Oric has usually like the hardest time. And I would say like second strongest is really hard to tell, honestly. I would say humans always complain these days because arguably the race is not as strong as it used to be.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, but it's still, I would say if the human gets to late game, as we see right here, if they get like high level heroes, it's still an amazing race in FFA. And yeah,
humans' biggest problem is that there is no army that fits versus everything. So they always have to adjust to their opponents, which can be very tricky.
Yeah.
Damn, you have to adjust your strategy in a strategy game. That sounds real rough.
Yeah, then undead, we see either undead players that solely rely on Gargs, and maybe some worms late game, but like those Quest is one of those players who likes to play 100 supply of Gargs, which can be very strong. And then we have other undeads like Side, for example, who likes to play those amazing like either army with like mixed unit compositions or Necro Wagon. Like that's usually, like in my eyes, that's like the most fun thing to observe, like to watch an undead player play Necro Wagon in FFA and try to, like in 1-on-1, it's usually what like you always mention on stream, that's something you don't like to see because it's like it's do or die and you see one attack and then the game is over, but that's usually not the case in FFA, right? So you see one undead maneuvering throughout the map with those huge armies and all the skeletons. So
we will actually, that's a nice teaser for next week for the second qualifier, because we have Godfather playing there.
Oh yeah, he likes to play.
Yeah, he's pretty much always playing Necro Wagons. So yeah, we will see the 2000 MMR solo player playing Necro Wagons in FFA. That's always pretty nice.
Is that also with the chat, and is Godfather muted already?
We will decide on that later.
Okay. Damn, there's a tap out. Eshan is out, apparently.
He's totally dry. But you saw how long it still took to finish up 2 dead players.
Yeah.
So I think in LilTic's situation, even with where he was, 12k gold and all his heroes and no opponent with the base, still not too many people would be able to get this win now. I mean, FFA players, most of them. But yeah, it's still very tricky, and the others stayed there for a reason.
Who are the other players next weekend?
Players' forces are under
Next weekend we have Godfather, we have Erenikos, who is known to be a very good orc and human FFA player. We have Tekricat, who is pretty much a newcomer with a very interesting playstyle. We will see this also next week. And the last player is Noex, who is pretty much an FFA legend.
Yeah, Noex, arguably one of the 3 best players of all time. Very rusty, I would say.
But nice. Shots fired right away.
Yeah, I mean he can take it. The old Swiss legend, like very young. He's a young player still, and he has I would say it's like a more aggressive playstyle than LilTic. Usually going for bigger armies, and he's in my eyes like the best mass TP player of all time. Like it's insane to see him play late game. Like he's one of the 3 best players, I would say, probably with HTRT and Megadensky. I guess those are the 3 best players of all time, arguably, and Rectify. And so the 4.
GG, we found ourselves a winner. Damn, didn't expect that looking into the names right away from the beginning. Gradient, Sheik, Eshan out. And LilTic as a pretty much a replacement player qualifying.
Yeah, like there was another player playing first, but he couldn't play, and the next one in the ladder ranking was LilTic, so he happily accepted and showed why he is worth.
He will.
Very well played.
Yes, indeed. Winning a 1-on-1 against Sheik, pretty impressive. So he joins Lelu and Quest in the finals next Saturday. Plus we need 1 more, and that player will, as you guys said already, be decided Friday evening when we have the second semi-final here.
Yeah, I'm already very excited as always. I mean, it's the best time of the year. Casting with you guys, I always enjoy this so much.
It is probably the best time to be an FFA fan right now. We got FFA Masters League running, which we 3 are casting as well regularly now on this channel, and the finals, man. We also got donations here, guys. $15 coming in, 5 by The Favor, Warcraft 3, Back to Warcraft, W3Champions, FFA for the win. Nice. And Shavak with the $10. Let's make it an epic 3-hour game. Not really. It was only 1 hour, but it was pretty epic.
Every week we go for 5 next weekend in return.
Okay. When I'm very, very exhausted after a week of casting, Saturday, then the grand final will be 5 hours. Gonna love it.
Yeah, players will fight for their lives. I just can't
100%. I know that. Is this the 3rd season finals we do? 8, 9, 10?
Yeah, exactly. I also like the donation comment by Little Rami, by the way. He donated $10. I'm not sure how exactly, but he just wrote something like, I'm gonna sell my grandma in order to win this game if I have to.
That's not like technically, I guess that's correct. Like some players are known to be very like they want to win whatever it costs, even if you sit like I mean there's really like for some players there's really a limit, right? We saw players sitting for 5 hours. So I guess like also 6 hours. So I guess like where's the limit? Like I guess some players would sit like 10 hours if they need to.
If it's for the W3C championship and Lelo could be the first back-to-back champion, he will sit there for... I would sit there for 10 hours. I will sit there for 10 hours if he sits there for 10 hours.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, if we get a scheduling conflict with the one-on-one tournament, we might have...
you might dodge the one-on-one, of course.
Of course, yeah, we have to send Carson and Remo to the B stream, back to Warcraft 2, and finish this epic game here. Yeah. Alright. I guess that's it. Do we have some FFA throughout the week, maybe?
There will be one.
It's actually LilTic's game, right?
Yeah, might be.
I'm listening.
It's match 6 that will take place in 3 days. So Wednesday at prime time, 8 p.m. CET. And it's going to be match 6. And in match 6 we have LilTic, Trunks, Tox and Chipotech. So,
Damn.
so with I think Chipotech is a rather new player still, but Tox, Trunks, and LilTic definitely promising an aggressive action-packed match.
I'm in if you're in. But at least one of you guys is in.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sure.
Boom! Let's do it! Okay, so we don't have to wait till Friday to get more FFA action because we love more FFA action. Alright then, I would say that's pretty much it for now. You can still contribute to the prize pool of the FFA tournament here as well. On Match Reno, look for FFA W3C Season 10 Finals, or use the bot !grid or !bracket. And FML continues Wednesday. W3C FFA continues Friday and finds the new or old champion on Saturday. And if people want to follow and join the FFA community, where can they do that?
Yeah, as usual, go to ffamasters.com and just click on the Discord link. That's where most of the action takes place and where you find players, tips, and event information.
There's also an FFA guide by Sexy, which you should definitely read, because it's very interesting. There is so much information if you are new to FFA, and you will have a lot of moments where you think, that's why.
And you don't have to read all 90 pages or what it is. So I think it's it's taking you 5 to 10 pages to be somewhat up to pace.
Yeah, I was about to say that if you have 3 weeks of time, go grab that guide. If you don't, then just listen to our cast and apply what my co-casters are saying. That's the low time also investment.
True words.
Version.
There are 3 days until the next FFA, so yeah, you know what to do.
You know what to do, everybody. RulaZ, HighTac, big pleasure to have you here to spend your Sunday evening, not with family or friends or Tatort, but with me here back to Warcraft and FFA.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Neo. Thanks, Remo.
Yeah, thank you for supporting this game mode. It's amazing.
And good night.
Bye-bye. See you guys very, very soon. Remo's back tomorrow with the Doobie Cup. I think at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We still have Group D to cast. And then we go into the playoffs, where I will probably be joining as well. Tomorrow, Fortitude, Colorful, Soin, and Focus to complete the quarterfinal in the Doobie Cup. W3Champions finals continue on Friday. Of course, all the information on backtowarcraft.com. Bye-bye!